So this isn't the reason, but every time I look at this insane number, I just can't bring myself to restart. It's too much time. So around this time of the year, a lot of people are thinking about restarting their Animal Crossing islands. After all, a new year has just started, and there's plenty of valid reasons why you may want to do that. This could be even more true if you have another Animal Crossing island on a different Switch, perhaps one that you never got around to finishing, or just abandoned a long time ago and you might want a fresh start with. Or maybe even if you just came back to playing the game after a long time away. Well, when I recently restarted my second island, which was a project I had been working on before Animal Crossing's version 2.0 update, I realized something that made me reconsider deleting it at all. Back when Nintendo released the 2.0 update in November 2021, they changed something behind the scenes that they didn't announce to us that honestly I feel like a lot of people didn't notice. And honestly, to this day, I'm still not 100% sure why they even did this. Effectively, there is an entire version of the museum that you can no longer get as of version 2.0. So if you play Animal Crossing New Horizons currently, maybe you've just started or you've made a new file, you will no longer be able to get this museum at all. This is the Stone Museum, which was the original upgrade after Blaver's Tent. Effectively, this is the version that doesn't have Red's art wing. It seems like because Brewster was added in version 2.0 as a cafe upgrade to the museum, Nintendo decided they no longer needed to have the Stone version and decided to skip it entirely, so any players who hadn't already gotten this would no longer be able to obtain it under any circumstances. That means that if you happen to have an island that has this Stone version of the museum, it honestly could be pretty rare. Think about it this way, most players would have probably already upgraded their museum to have the art exhibit, so this Stone version wouldn't be in their game anymore. And then we have to consider all the people who would have started or restarted their islands after version 2.0, hence never getting the chance to even have this on their island. So if you were like me and created an island before version 2.0 and only upgraded your museum to the first time, then you might still have this. Now, although this is a pretty rare version of the museum that not many people have now, you still may want to restart your island. Beyond that, you might just want to upgrade it because after all, you can't get Brewster or the art exhibit if you are stuck with this version. So even though this is one of the rarer and cooler things in the game in my opinion, and I personally think it actually looks like the best version we've ever had of the museum, it doesn't really have much functional use. But then again, I know there's a lot of people out there who don't upgrade Blaver's Tent because they feel like it matches the aesthetic of their island much better. Some people create new islands purely to design them rather than use the actual features like donating things to the museum, so maybe if you do still have this version, it's worth keeping it because it's a very different aesthetic than the one we end up getting in the end. Personally, I'm really sad that Nintendo decided to skip this step entirely. It feels like they wanted to simplify things a bit too much. I can understand that they don't want the process to feel too convoluted, but I'm sure this version of the museum could have still fit in somewhere. And after all, they had to take the time to design this one, so it feels like their work is a little bit wasted. As I mentioned earlier, I often feel the same way about Blaver's Tent. I wish there was still a way of having it on your island, maybe it's serving a different purpose, because I love the way it looks and I miss it so much. We also could consider that Red himself probably had something to do with this. After all, he is the biggest scam artist in Animal Crossing New Horizons, so I really wouldn't put it past him having some involvement in this version disappearing. Maybe he's gone on to sell this version of the museum on the dark web, who knows. But let me know in the comments section down below if you're one of those rare players who still has an island with this version of the museum. It's definitely something that can make your island feel a little bit more special and unique, which is really cool. If you made it to the end of the video, be sure to comment Bob's Gang down below so I know you did. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, and if you haven't already, consider subscribing and turning on notifications for more.